Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Tamar Meisels. Today we're going to talk about science and religion and when they seem to conflict with each other. Specifically, we're going to talk about two topics. The first one is how old is the world? And the second one is when was man created? How old the world is? Judaism talks about 5,782 years and science talks about 14 billion years. And the way Judaism figures this out is in the written Torah, in the Bible, it talks about Adam living this amount of years and giving birth to his son Shet and the different events that take place, the year descriptions that occur. We add up the years and we come to 5,782 years. Science has different techniques to try to find how long Earth existed, and it comes out to about 15 billion years. The second one, talking about man, the Bible describes a human being created by God, and science in various theories of human evolution talks about a developing human that has developed over many years from some ape-like ancestor. Some rabbinical opinions do talk about these first few verses in Bereshit to mean literally. One of these figures is the Lubavitcher Rebbe, among others, and they kind of dismiss science a little bit in saying that science is something that is always changing, and interestingly enough, in the time of Rambam, Maimonides, science at that time was actually talking about a world that always existed and wasn't created at all, which is pretty interesting. And science, in their opinion, is supposed to be empirical, to see what is in front of you. And these techniques that they use to determine the age of the earth are extrapolations and not really scientific. And the same thing can be said about the theory of evolution. It's exactly that. It's a theory. It's not really scientific. So that's one opinion. On the other hand, many opinions do accept the science and don't take these first few verses in the book of Genesis, Bereshit, to mean literally. So in the Torah, there's usually 4 different layers of understanding. There's the pshat, drash, remez, and sod. The pshat means literally, the literal understanding. Drash means what are the interpretations, the spiritual interpretations, and remez and sod means more like Kabbalistic, futuristic layer of understanding. And when we read the Torah and we read about Avraham and his wife Sarah, there really, on the pshat level, there really was a man who was named Avraham and lived at that time and did so and so. And then there's the level of the drash, where we look at the things they're doing or the things that is happening to them, and we try to understand what the deeper level means. And remez and sod means even deeper understandings into the whole world of Kabbalah. For these few psukim verses in the book of Bereshit, there is no way to understand it literally, and we have to understand it beginning from the drash level. One example of this is the first day and the first night, every day that happens. How can we even use a day when the sun and the earth were only created in the 4th day? This means not literally but figuratively, a day means a period of time. Interestingly, when we read the first few psukim verses in Bereshit, the first 2 psukim, the first 2 parts talks in past tense, Bereshit bara Elokim, in the past, and starting from the 3rd pasuk, Hashem says, let there be light, in present tense. So this could also mean that there were previous worlds that we're not familiar with, and that the substance that this world was created from already existed in past worlds, which can explain the time frame that we're talking about. And that might be the reason that this world appears older. Also interesting is that the Kabbalah has talked about previous worlds that existed before our world, and also about evolving humans. So to people who are familiar with Kabbalah, these theories are not really that new. Rav Kook, a great rabbi who lived in the previous generation, actually embraced the theory of evolution, or at least its meaning that the world is evolving and humans are evolving, and he said that it actually coincides very well with deeper spiritual theories about the world and the world evolving. The theory of evolution matches up very well with the world of Kabbalah, much more so than other theories. So what we do know and what we do need to learn is, one is that man has a soul and that is from a divine source. Man, as we know him, has existed for 5,782 years. This year is actually not the year since the creation of the world, but rather since the creation of man. Like we said, the 6 days that occurred before man existed, there wasn't even a sun, so we're not really talking about days. So these years are since the time where man as we know him exists. So basically, we can put in a lot of effort to explaining how these verses match up with the latest scientific research. But really, when we look at science and religion, these are two ways of looking at the world, and they can complete each other. To quote Rabbi Zaks in his book, The Great Partnership, God, Science, and the Search for Meaning. Science is about explanation. Religion is about meaning. Science tells us what is. Religion tells us what ought to be. So the Torah is not a history book and not a science book, but it's an instruction book to teach us how to live meaningful and godly lives. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. See you next time!